So in this segment, we're going to be talking about the UK beginning negotiations to join the Trans-Pacific Trading Bloc, the CPTPP. This is a great opportunity for Britain. We're going to add massive amounts to GDP and all this stuff. So let's look into the crux of the article. So the UK has formally started to join negotiations to join an 8-nation Trans-Pacific Trading Bloc, part of its bid to diversify its commerce post-Brexit. So 11 nations, not as many as the EU, who have 27 nations. So okay, not bad, not bad. The CPTPP, whose members include Canada, all right, Canada not bad, big country. Japan, third biggest economy. Mexico, pretty good, and Australia, as is a glittering post-Brexit prize, according to International Trade Secretary Liz Truss said in a statement. Membership would boost the size of the UK's economy of £1.8 billion over 15 years. That's a lot of money, right? 1.8 billion pounds over 15 years, compared with its 2019 level. So that's a lot of money for the economy, right? According to scoping assessment by the Department for International Trade, that would be an increase of 0.08% over 15 years. Oh, that's not a lot, is it? Especially since the Australia deal itself is worth 0.02%, and also the fact that these are the best case scenarios, because these are government figures. They don't offer, moderate figures. They'll offer best case scenario, 0.08%. And that number could go down depending on the damage it does to the economy. The Australia deal might be economically neutral or economically damaging if it destroys our farming industry and other industries associated with that. So it could actually, be negative for our GDP. So there's that. So this part of the world is where Britain's greatest opportunities lie, said Liz Truss. Membership would help our farmers, makers and innovators sell to some of the biggest economies of the present and future. Which economies are the future? These are all relatively going to be the same. The biggest ones here, right? Canada, what's their ceiling like? Japan, Mexico, Australia, America, the USA. The USA aren't even a member. So, these countries are somewhere near their ceiling. They are near peaking. Like, what are you talking about? China being the exemption, I think. But yeah, most of these countries are peaking economically, so it's just stupid. Britain has been eager to forge new trading relationships since its split from the European Union, a move that's caused trade decline with its biggest trading partner, which is very high. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Alongside seeking CPTPP ascension, the UK is negotiating bilateral deals with Australia, which, as we mentioned, 0.02%, not a lot. New Zealand and the US, which that US deal is not going to happen anytime soon. I can tell you that for free, given the situation in Northern Ireland. Though a deal with President Joe Biden administration is unlikely in the short term, as the article points out, the UK has already has trading agreements with various depths with several of the CPTPP. Sorry, it's a lot of letters. And it is in negotiations with two more, Australia and New Zealand. The Australia deal looks to be done. New Zealand, I'm not sure about. But the simple fact is, 0.08% of GDP isn't a lot. The Trade Department saying that the benefit of the CPTPP would grow if other countries such as Thailand or South Korea would also join. I can't speak much about Thailand, but South Korea's got a relatively small population with, I think, decent purchasing power. I'm not 100% sure, but again, a country that's probably near its economic peak, it's not going to go massively higher than that, where it is now. So the simple question is, how great is this deal? So if we look at some numbers from the LSE, London School of Economics, they're saying that there are many studies, both official sector, the Office of Budget Responsibility, and academic, e.g. the Centre of Economic Performance at the London School of Economics, LSE, consensus the range of damage is going to be about 4 to 6% of this is Brexit, and this is about the deal as is. So this is by 2030, so we're going to lose, right? Let's go back to the article. So within 15 years, right? 15 years, we'll say that'll be what, 2035. 2035, our trade with these countries will have increased by 0.08%. Okay. By 2030, by 2030, we'd have a massive, shrinkage in the economy because of because of Brexit by around 4 to 6%. So realistically, you're going to lose 5% of GDP just because of Brexit by 2030. That's what these people are saying by the looks of things. So yeah, It's just ridiculous that the UK is going to struggle massively. That by doing Brexit, yeah, we're going to chase a great unicorn deals with CPTPP countries, but we're having a massive hit to our GDP just because of Brexit. That's crazy. These are crazy numbers here. And we go on to say, we look at some spin here from the Brexiteers that say that Ascension could see 99.9% of UK exporters being eligible for tariff-free trade with CPTPP members and a reduction in other barriers. But as the doc points out here, Dr. Anna Joazeska, worth pointing out that this is a standard way of talking about the prospective free trade agreement. It doesn't mean that 99.9% of exports will be eligible for tariff-free treatment, but what it does mean is that tariffs on up to 99.9%. It means that tariffs on up to 99% of tariff lines could be eliminated. Whether these exports are eligible for tariff-free trade or not will then depend on the company's ability to meet and certify rules of origin and willingness to do so. Also, the fact that you're still going to go through basic paperwork checks. So it's not great, is it? This kind of, this idea that we're going to chase these countries, right? Doing trade with these countries will, for the most part, still mean you have to do customs and paperwork. Customs and paperwork, which the UK is already struggling to do with our trade with the EU. So we can see that, this potential trade, best case scenario, adds 0.08% to our GDP. And then even if you add in the whatchamacallit, the trade deal with Australia, that's 0.10%, okay? That's a drop in the bucket compared to the fact that we are going to lose. I think I misspoke earlier. We're going to lose 4 to 6% of our GDP. So say we lose 4%, right? 4%. The deal with the CPTPP will make it so we've lost 3.9%. Like, how bad is that? That our trade, best case scenario, right? If you base off these numbers, and even then you've got timescales to think about, because the analysis here is in 35 years. Or no, sorry, 15 years. But the analysis here is within about 9 years. These numbers will kick in about 9 years' time. It's just ridiculous that, we're going to see a massive hit to our economy, and that they're still trying to spin this stuff, these agreements with the CPTPP members as some brilliant trade deal, which isn't the case. And, they talk about this, they'll mention £1.8 billion over the next 15 years, but they won't mention the fact that that's only 0.08% of our GDP. Which is a drop in the bucket. It's not a lot. Yeah, it's going to help certain industries out, but still, it's not a lot of money for the grander scale of the economy. So it just further shows you that this idea that we were just going to, get rid of trade with the EU and start doing with other countries is ludicrous. The original things they said was we'll keep trade with the EU and then expand out. That's not happened. So their new arguments are we're gonna, we're gonna, get rid of our trade with the EU and do it with other countries in the world. That's simply not happening. That's simply not happening. We're going to lose massive amounts to our GDP. Why? Because this government are incompetent. This government have no idea what they're doing. But anyways, look, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.